guys, it's Lee. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my August 2020 bullet journal setup, and I'm sure you guys noticed that I have a little bit of a different backdrop today. I decided to try something a little bit different. Just go to the slightly different section of my room. Let me know if you prefer this compared to just like my plain closet door, or if I should try something different in my room. But anyway, back to today's theme. I've been putting off this theme for the past couple months now. I was originally going to do this in May, but then, you know, things obviously changed and my inspo went somewhere else. Not someone else. But I figured August is the last time to really be able to do this sea watercolor theme. This is my first time doing watercolors in my bullet journal, and really the first time I've used watercolor truly outside of like elementary school. I did use it one other time for this Winnie the Pooh painting that I did for my best friend's new baby room before her kid got born. But with this, as you can see here, a beautiful, beautiful watercolor painting of dolphins. That has been on my wall since a little over a year ago now, when I went to Hawaii last February, and you know, health issues thing happened. Click the card if you're curious about all that. But I met this artist named Danielle Burnside, I think that's how you say her last name. Her stuff will be linked down below. I was in love with her art when I saw it on the beaches at Kona. And you know what, never mind, I'll tell that story when we're actually going into the spread. Let's just get right into this setup. Alright guys, as per normal, I started with my quote page. Now, realistically, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with this page. My first initial thought was to use a really dark blue watercolor to do the whole backdrop so it would match with the sticker that you'll eventually see in a moment. But alas, the Michaels was closed by the time I started doing this, so I had no other time to really look for that color. So I just played around with the blues that I did have and made all these water streaks and just kind of got a feel for how watercolor works again, because I hadn't used it for so long. But I love this sticker, and honestly, I think I might order another one or just get a whole canvas painting of this from the artist, which I will leave her handle right here and also in the description if you're interested in buying any of the arts that you'll see later in this video as well. But after I stuck it on, I decided to just go with a very simple, just keep swimming quote from Finding Nemo. I don't know, it's easy, it's simple, and I just wanted to get the quote page ready and good to go. But I had these watercolor washi tapes, and I eventually changed my mind with how I placed them and just kept with that standard look. Now moving on to the chunky one. This took me so long. Don't let the speed over fool you. It did not only take me 2 minutes to do this. Marine life has always been really, really hard for me to draw. I have always loved dolphins. I've swam with them like 4 different occasions, I think, at this point over the past 10 years. I've just always been obsessed with dolphins, but I could not draw them for the life of me. So I spent so long trying to draw these 2 dolphins. And if I didn't have this picture that I bought from the artist, I guarantee I would not have been able to do this. Obviously, you can see I'm not tracing it. I was just looking up at the photo and just doing my best. And as I was doing it, all I could think was like, this is going to turn out like shit. This is gonna look horrible. I have to use this in my thumbnail, but it's going to look horrible. And for some reason, it eventually turned into at least a decent drawing, in my opinion. At first, this dolphin that I'm drawing looked a little bit weird, in my opinion, but then, you know, the more tweaks you do, eventually it will be okay. And I feel like if I tried doing this drawing / painting at the very beginning of my year, when I first started uploading these videos to this channel, like around the Winnie the Pooh time in November, I would not have been able to do this, I can guarantee you. So it's really nice to feel like I'm actually improving, even though when I was starting this particular drawing, I was thinking this is gonna be god-awful, especially when I was working on this eye. I was like, how am I gonna make this look good with watercolor if I can't even do it with a pencil? But I didn't want to give up, so I was like, okay, just keep going, doesn't matter how long it's gonna take you, which honestly, this took me forever. I think I spent 3 different days consecutively, as much as I could, on this drawing and painting. Like, I think the drawing itself took me at least like 3 hours to finally be like okay with how it looked, and the painting took I think 7 or 8 hours collectively. So I hope you guys like it. I mean, like I said, during the majority of this, I really was thinking this is gonna look god awful. But then there's always that certain time closer to the end of a drawing, or I guess now a painting, where it goes from looking like absolute crap to, oh my god, it actually looks pretty good. So overall, very proud of myself, glad it pushed myself, and I think if, at least I hope so, if the artist ever sees my version of what she sells, that she would be maybe mildly impressed by it. I don't know. Maybe she'll see my post when I tag her on Instagram when I upload this. We shall see. Let me know what you guys think. Please don't be mean with the criticism, but do give me criticism. It would be much appreciated. So I do want to tell you guys that little story that I kind of teased at the very beginning. When I was in Hawaii with my parents before my health issue happened, like that seriously happened, where we were like, we need to go home and deal with this and go home early. We spent the evening walking down the downtown streets of Kona, and it was like right along the beach. And around that time, there was this huge market. A bunch of local artists were selling their art. And that's when I met Danielle, who did this painting and also did the whale sticker and sold them. So I bought this sticker from her and another sticker that I'll be using a little bit later in this video, and the painting of these dolphins that inspired my version of it. I was in love with it the moment I saw it. It was just gorgeous, and it has like these golden foils that look like bubbles around the dolphin. It is just gorgeous, and it was totally worth the money. It's been on my gallery wall, well, pretty much since I got home, honestly. The only time it ever leaves my gallery wall is if it's Halloween time and I replace it with a Jack Skellington painting, which maybe I'll try that this week. No, okay, I'm going on a weird tangent. But anyway, so I met her, and I was praising her work, and I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful, thank you, making small talk, because I get really nervous when I'm around really talented people. And I don't remember why she asked me this, but she asked me if I was an artist too, and I just remember feeling like, am I though? Because around that time, I wasn't really drawing that much. Like, I knew I liked to draw, but I really wasn't like doing it nearly as much as I am this year. And at the time, I was really only making dream catchers on my Instagram account and selling them. So I was just like, I was really hesitant in my answer, and I told her like, I think I am, and I told her I drew, not true. I told her that I make dream catchers and sell them, but I wasn't really sure if that made me an artist, and she just like politely nodded, and all I could think was like, oh my god, I'm definitely not an artist, and I want to be, but I don't know what to do about it. So that's partly why I decided to try doing more artsy stuff in my bullet journal this year. Because, I mean, I wanted to try it at the very first year I did bullet journaling, but I kind of just gave up because I ended up just having more problems. So, I mean, really, I stopped when my brain was just not working, when I had the whole health issue thing. So I'm really glad that I decided to just take a stab at drawing and, you know, just keep trying even though I kept failing. So I don't know, maybe she'll watch this video and hear this story, and I guarantee she will not remember me because I was not there very long, and I don't think I'm very memorable in that little conversation. But that conversation did strike a chord and did make me want to feel like, yeah, I want to feel like I can confidently call myself an artist. One day I will be able to really confidently say that, when I can make my own art and not have to just look at someone else's. But until then, I think I'm making strides, and I'm very proud of how this painting turned out. So now we are moving on to my schedule page. So after that really, really long painting, I did not want to spend that long on the rest of my spread setup. So I went simpler with my schedule page, and I spread out all the squares to try to make it look like they were bubbles without making them completely circular, because I tried that before and it did not have enough room. I feel like I would have to have like a B5 bullet journal to be able to pull off that idea fully, but I figured just rounding the edges gave that effect enough. So I wasn't really sure what to have through them, since the squares were taking up so much more space than if I just kept like the squares together like I did in a couple of my other spreads like October and November's. So I decided that I would throw in some jellyfish, because then at least their tentacles could like look like they're kind of swerving in between the squares and just fill up those gaps. And just added a bunch of other bubbles and had the watercolor blue be just outside of the round bubbles and keep the pencil lines. I feel like it made it look airy still. So this one, I actually found a photo similar to it on Pinterest, but you'll see that at the very end of the video. But mine's definitely a very butchered version of that painting. I feel like I would probably want to try to take a stab at doing jellyfish again, but not in my bullet journal, just be on like an actual watercoloring page. Because even though this whole spread really took a lot of time and effort to do, it made me love watercolors even more than I did before. Maybe you'll see that in future videos. Let me know if you'd like to see speed over videos of me just painting, just a regular painting outside of my book. Let me know. If not, maybe I'll just stick it to Instagram, but we'll see. So for this stingray, I found another picture on Pinterest, and it was actually these two stingrays that one was pure white and one was black. And originally I wanted to try doing the white one to have like a slight gray tone, but then it just did not end up working. So I was like, hey, no, I think that would work better if I had a colored background instead of just leaving my background white like I did. So I went with the black stingray. And this took a long time, and I was actually getting kind of paranoid that the water was gonna seep through the pages, even though these are like 160 GSM pages. Thank God, otherwise this would have, if I tried watercolor in my previous book from the first half of this year, oh God, it would have been disastrous. Those pages are so thin compared to this book, but I digress. After a lot of fiddling with the Kleenex and blotting and everything, I really like how my stingray turned out. So with the bubbles, I just continued to add a little bit of dark paint and just filled it in and kind of spread out the color a little bit more, and then outlined it with a watercolor / Tombow pen. The link to the set is in the description. The pens are advertised as being like a Tombow, but also work as watercolor pens. So it worked in my favor if I decided to spread out the color a bit more. Obviously using watercolor paint worked a lot better, but if you want like a sharper line that's not gonna, be as streaky as like just using a regular paintbrush, these pens are great for that. But I'm not gonna lie, this seahorse, I don't really like how it turned out. I did my best, but again, this was the first attempt at trying to do a seahorse, so I was like, you know what, for a first attempt, it's not that bad, let yourself off the hook. But maybe in the future, or maybe next summer, I'll try just doing its own thing, so I have like more room to spread out and really draw like I did with the cover page. And for a finishing touch, I decided to add some more of the watercolor sea life themed washi tape that I had got from my scrapbook store a while ago actually. And since there was a lot of white on this page, I added some more of the distressed ink to add extra blue to a kick. That link for that color is in the description as well. So moving on to my to-do list pages. These I decided to keep super duper simple because at this point I was just drawed out, or whatever the term is. I was just tired. I was tired of drawing and painting, so I just wanted to keep it super simple. And just added some more of the washi tape from that set and added a bit of watercolor as like an underline. instead of just like having a swipe of a Tombow pen. And I love how that looked. Like it's just so pretty. I'll probably do this more with like other spreads, with it, even if it's not like a full watercolor theme, but I love how that line looks underneath the words. It's so cute. So I added some more of the distressing blue, and yeah, that's it for my to-do list pages. On to my habit tracker. I decided to make this color scheme more purple and pink based with just a tad of blue, because the next sticker that I bought from the artist that did the first sticker, and I bought a sea turtle sticker from her too. My mom actually bought a watercolor canvas of this specific sea turtle, so she has that downstairs, and I just bought the sticker. And I'm glad I'm so glad I saved it for this spread, and I used it at the bottom of the mood tracker. But because this turtle is very pink and purple, that's why I wanted to have the habit tracker be those colors as well, because then it would just look like it's all blending together. And I added the same habits as I did the previous months, and I'm hoping maybe I can actually fill in the dates on my Instagram and YouTube for my The Leaf Actor channel, because I'm still working on that stupid short film. Maybe this month I'll actually be able to fill it out. We shall see, because I only have this month left to finish that ish up. So at the bottom, I thought it looked a little empty, and I decided to start painting just some random sea life doodles. So the mood tracker, it's very, very simple and basic. I just decided to have a bunch of bubbles above where the sea turtle will be. And yeah, isn't he cute? So cute. See, I was not kidding when I said he's mostly purple and pink. I think it overall looks very cute together, but a little bit of a part of me is like, does it look a little bit cluttered with how the bubbles are? But I was like, hey, whatever, what else am I gonna do, right? I don't know, there's a lot of days in August. So around the corners and tried between the bubbles, I wanted to make it look like the picture was actually blending in with the page, like what I thought I might do with the quote page, but then ended up failing miserably at. I probably should have made it a bit darker pink, but I was just at this point very paranoid that I was using too much water on these pages and then it might seep through. Luckily none did, but I was still pretty nervous about it. So moving on to our last spread of this setup, my first weekly spread. So this one I started on Monday to the weekend, even though the beginning of August is actually on a Saturday. But on my last spread for July, I just decided to add in the first 2 days of August in that spread so that I could show you guys an even Monday to Sunday spread. This one I found from, again, another artist that I can't think off the top of my head, but I will shoot their handle right now, and their link will also be in the description and their original photo at the very end of the video. But their spread had bubbles just like these, shaped like this, and I also used how they drew the days of the week. But the difference between mine and theirs is that they had more of like a water feather theme, which is two things you wouldn't normally think would go together, but honestly her spread was so pretty, I was like, I have to try this. And she did the similar thing to the outside of the bubbles and just making the outsides painted and the inside completely bare. And I wanted to still stick with my sea theme, and I didn't really want to draw feathers because I didn't really feel like that fit in the sea theme at all. So I just did a couple different sea life creature doodles that I saw on Pinterest as well. Kind of a different design than the more detailed looking drawings from my other pages, but they were very fast and easy to draw, and I am clearly more comfortable with drawing cartoon characters. And so for some finishing touches, I decided to add some little like dots and a bit of a darker blue for the kind of like edges of these bubbles. It definitely looked way more finished as soon as I did that with this blue. It's just such a pretty dark blue. And the link to that specific blue will be in the description, and the rest of the colors that I used of the blues and everything else came in a set, and the link for those are also in the description. I just got them at HomeSense for pretty cheap, but I'm pretty sure they sell them at Michael's as well. Alright guys, so here's my final flip through for my August 2020 setup. I'm very, very happy with how this one turned out. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like I exceeded my expectations. I thought it was going to look horrendous, but I am very proud of myself for just sticking it out and just spending that extra time on it, even though this video is late. Alright guys, so that was my August bullet journal setup. This was really frustrating for me to do during it. I was hoping it wouldn't take as long, but it totally did, and I was getting frustrated. But I honestly really like how it turned out. I'm proud of myself for pushing myself through the struggles. Anybody else feel like sometimes you just want to like throw an F-bomb in the middle of something that you just really want to work? But with that all being said, here is the original artwork that I used to base off of all of my spreads. I mean, you already saw this one, but I'll just put it here so you can see it a little bit clearer instead of my back consistently covering it. But yeah, please check out the artists that did these original creations, and I will see you guys in my next video. It'll probably just be my September bullet journal setup, since I'm really trying to get my short film done and it's still not done. Whew. But I will definitely see you guys for September's setup. Bye!